Welcome to Global Village Show. We are very honored to have two great guests today. Perry Morishita, Councillor Perry Morishita of City of Brooks, and Tom McNulty, our Staff Sergeant Tom McNulty, RCMP Chief in Brooks and Kent of Newell. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Perry, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised in the area, Rosemary actually, and have lived here all my life except for a few years when I went to school. I'm married. I have two grown children. One's a teacher, married to a teacher here, and the other one is in Calgary.
There you go. Tom, tell us a little bit quick about you've been here to the programs a couple of times, but
I have been on the program a couple of times. I grew up in British Columbia, joined the RCMP 33 years ago, spent 20 years in Saskatchewan, and the last 13 here in Alberta. I also have two children. One's a teacher, unmarried, working in Lethbridge, and my son is 22, going to school at the University of Regina. I've been in Brooks for almost 4 years, and I'm married to Diane, who's a registered nurse at the hospital.
That's very good. So 33 years, but you still look young. 33 years, that's a long time, but you look very young.
He does look pretty young.
Yeah. So you must tell us the secret about that. So.
A little bit of secret.
Yeah, but you want to tell us a little bit about the Newell Foundation?
Sure. The Newell Foundation, I'm the board chair there. I've been on the board for about 10 years. And the Newell Foundation is the housing authority for seniors housing. So we run two seniors lodges, one in Brooks and one in Bazzano. And basically we provide housing for seniors 65 and up. And it's partially subsidized through rates through the equalized assessment here in the County Newell in the City of Brooks. We have partners with the town of Bazzano, the village of Dutchess, and the village of Rosemary. So it's a partnership group that manages the housing.
Oh, so that is all the senior houses in Brooks and the county, or just here?
Just the lodge housing. So the lodges are different from regular housing. We provide meals and housekeeping services in the lodge.
Okay.
So typically our seniors are a little bit older. In fact, the average age at Newbrook Lodge is about 86. But we provide them with 3 meals and housekeeping once a week. And then we do programming as well, for recreational programming for them as well.
Wow, that's very good. So how you think the seniors, from the communist point of view, they sacrifice their lives in building the nation, and what do you think the community can do to help the seniors in terms of anything?
Well, I think from our perspective, when it comes to housing, is making sure that the appropriate housing is available for them. One of the things as we go forward is the expectations and needs of seniors change, just like the needs for everybody change. Yeah. And I think as we go forward, I think there's a realization that one of the things that's really important for a community is to keep their seniors in the community, as well as keep seniors with their families, as well as keeping senior couples together. And I think we need to be very cognizant of what we build and how we build to make sure those things happen in the future.
Wow, that's great. Tom, the domestic violence, is it increasing 2015? Is it decreasing in terms of we having some economic recession, and that might be some reasons why it increases?
Usually when we do have a slowdown in the economy and people get laid off and there's more stress at home, the domestic violence, alcohol abuse, domestic violence both rise. We're seeing a slight rise right now, but compared to what we had in the last 3 years, the pattern is still continue to slightly drop overall. So over the next few months, we'll see, but right now in Brooks we're seeing pretty much status quo. It's staying the way it has been.
One of the things that been coming to me a couple of times is, especially from the new Canadians, let's say if a woman called the RCMP and you intervene and the husband is given a no contact or don't get close to that house, or so what is that procedure? Is it if they've been told not to go there and they go and they think that they can solve the problems through their own community elders, how that will work? Would they have to wait until the court, or they can intervene, or because sometimes you tell them not to go to the house and they show up in the house?
So first and the biggest point is when the RCMP intervene, we've been called into a situation that's unsafe. 9 times out of 10, it's unsafe for the woman. The circumstances have built up in that relationship that have caused some sort of imbalance and violence. If we arrest the man and take the man out of the home, and we do have enough to lay a charge under the criminal code, we will compel that person to court by way of a summons or by way of an undertaking of some sort to get him to court. And our goal is to ensure the safety of the family, of the woman. And that may result in having that man stay away from that home until things have been dealt with. So that's on the criminal court side. There's all sorts of community services as well. Like our domestic violence intervention team will get involved immediately and start to put together support services, whether it be alcohol addictions, it could be mental health, it could be income supplement, it could be just general counseling. It could also involve the community. And so if elders of the community and the culture of that community also want to get involved and help, that can run parallel with the criminal court system. If the Crown Prosecutor gets involved with the community, the Crown Prosecutor can bring that back into the criminal court and explain to the court what the community is doing and what other groups are doing and how much help the accused is getting. And if the accused is getting help and is showing that there's improvement and they have a willingness to abide by the Canadian law, then the court will most often work with them to allow that to continue.
So they will drop the charges, or they will just
They may not drop the charges. In fact, they won't drop the charges, but at the end of the day, there may not be a sentence. The sentence could be suspended, or it could be served already, like a short period of probation to ensure that all of the counseling and all of the other issues are dealt with, but could continue to have the authority and the pressure of the court behind that. So yes, at the end of the day, the courts could work with everyone to minimize the sanctions against the accused.
Oh, okay, no, that's very clear. I think that will clear the minds of many people, especially the new Canadians, about what you just mentioned, because that was an issue that been a few people asked me, and I said, you know what, that's Tom or somebody to answer your question, and I'm glad that you cleared that one.
If we all work together, if we all come together and work together for the safety and the well-being of that family, then good things will happen. And there's a willingness, certainly in Brooks, through our domestic violence team and all of the other social services providers and the courts, we're all willing to work together for a healthy family.
I'm glad, Tom. That's true indeed. I have spent long weekend of July with one of the families together with Anne, just to intervene some domestic issues. So, and it takes sometimes long hours, especially your long weekend. So and that was the collective view of people as a community to prevent, so the family can prosper and be a good family. And for some, we succeeded, but that's a collective of all the community responsibility. Mr. Councillor, we have every business coming to an area, one thing they look at is the safety of the area. And we have Tom here. So how are you going to attract business or investors into our area?
Well, I think there's a few things that you can do as part of the municipality itself. We certainly do have a safe community, and that has a lot to do with the staff sergeant here.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job in promoting their activities in the community, making sure they're visible, and that has reaped a lot of rewards in our community, and I think that's a celebration of success for us, and certainly that makes it attractive. When people look to relocate or looking at community, they're looking at things like education, how safe those communities are, how good is the health care, how good are the schools, how good are the other programs, and I think, I'm certainly bragging here, but I think our community is very well equipped to deal with a lot of those issues. So from the municipality standpoint, all the support services we have within it, I think makes us a very attractive community to relocate to. When it comes to things like business, there's obviously some different considerations, and I think one of the biggest ones that the municipality can do, and it's certainly one we're working on, is to make the processes to relocate here as simple and as easy as possible. There is a lot of misunderstanding about that municipalities or municipal governments can get in the way of development, get in the way of making things happen, but in fact I think we're going the other way. I think we're trying to make it faster, we're trying to make the issues easier to understand, and then the procedures as quick as possible for people to, if they're considering opening a business or considering moving here, to make those as smooth a transition as possible.
Because as far as I am concerned, I think municipalities have done a great job because they are from the bottom up. You deal day-to-day issues with the community.
Yeah, and I think that is. I think we're closest to the residents, and I think we understand what their requirements are, maybe more so than some other levels. And I think the other thing is I think that we're very, very much invested in our individual communities. Mm-hmm. We care about what goes on here. We want things to be better. We want people to be successful. And so I think for the most part, that's what we try to do. We try to put things in place to make that happen.
And that will follow, I will follow up with how you attract labor force then as well.
Well, I think there's a couple things there that still need some improvement. I think rental housing and the cost of rental housing is certainly still an issue. And I think when we look at examples that have been a success in making things happen better, it's about partnerships. So I think one of the priorities of council has been to look at different partnerships. And I think as we move forward and address issues like rental housing and the cost of rental housing, availability of that type of housing, I think that's where our solutions lie. I believe all the pieces are in the community to do it. We just have to put them together. So I think you'll see a little more cooperation and partnering there, and hopefully we'll have some success.
No, that's glad to hear, Councillor. Tom, everybody loves to live in a safe community, but to say I want to live in a safe community and to engage yourself to make it happen is two different things. What I'm trying to say is, for example, as you know, we are not immune from the youth to be vulnerable of radicalization or some sort of going to the wrong path in life. How do you think that can be prevented as a collective, as a community, starting with the parents of the child, or parents of the youth, to prevent radicalization? It happens in somewhere else does not mean we are immune. It's just a matter of time it will happen. That's just human nature. So to be a proactive is always one step ahead. So what's your thoughts about that?
The first thing that comes to mind is just simply communication and being busy. Someone, as a parent, to talk to your child right from day one all the way through, to ensure that a good, sound, back and forth conversation takes place between you and your child. When they start talking at 2 years old or 3 years old, that you're communicating, that when they go off to school in grade 1 and grade 2, that you're talking and you continue that all the way through so you understand your child. And then open as many doors as possible. The city council and the city put together numerous recreational events. The schools put together all sorts of athletic and recreational pieces. And if your child is socialized early in life, this is simply my opinion. I've never written anything on this, but I believe that if your child is socialized early in life, through team sports, through things at school, through just communicating with other kids, peers the same age, so that they're not the bottom of the pack and not necessarily the top of the pack. They feel comfortable where they are, and the parents allow that to happen. Don't keep the child shut in, and don't stop them from participating. And if you can't afford to participate in something like soccer or hockey, there's all sorts of different programs to get the financial ability to participate for your children. But if the kids are participating and interacting with other kids and feel wanted, feel a sense of community, the chances of them getting brought into a gang of any strife, whether it be drugs or just doing bad criminal activity, lessen substantially, because they're strong enough within themselves that they don't need that other family that would bring them in to do into the gang family.
But the challenge is the internet, because most of the kids play the internet. And sometimes you see they will spend more time when they come from school, they will spend more time with the internet and all. So internet becomes now where the danger is coming.
But the internet is just a source. When we were growing up, it was books. It was it was conversation or whatever. But there's always something there to sell the product. Mm-hmm. Now it's the internet, where you can get everything under the sun under the internet. It's just another source. It's still building that sense of self-worth to that child as they grow up, and to have that child working with other peers, with other kids, and feeling part of that community, that they don't want to go off in this other community. They may look at the internet and see all these people talking about their beliefs and their radical beliefs and whatever it might be, but they could dismiss it just as quickly. Those sources of information have changed, but they've always been there. So it's still building the strength inside. You're not going to protect your child from everything that there is to protect them from. To get them thinking critically on the values that you have is your best hope.
So have open dialogue with the kids all the time.
Always.
I think on that too, one of the important things that we have to do as well, and we have some great recreation, we have great athletic programs, we have the hardship programs, we have those opportunities, but there's a lot of kids that don't have those opportunities or aren't inclined to be in sports, and I think one of the things that we undervalue is all the other things that go along with that. And I think society in general, and certainly our community, needs to step up a little bit and make sure, as Tom says, that they are engaged in the way they need to be engaged in the interests that they have, because they do sometimes go beyond athletics and go beyond other, kind of, what do you want to call them, traditional activities, whether it's gaming now, whether it's just watching movies, whether it's learning a different skill, a trade at a young age, whatever it happens to be. I think we need to pay attention to those. Our society is getting busier and there are lots of influences, and I think if anything has changed, it's just that we have to be a little bit more active on our side of making sure the good influences, or they have opportunities to access those good influences.
Oh, that's great. I think what Barry mentioned and added what Tom said. Tom, the driving and talking on the phone becomes now a problematic for many of the people. And some of them think that if they put the speaker on, but they're not holding the cell phone, they are okay. They are same as having a coffee mug on your hand. So what is the difference? Distraction means don't talk to anything on the phone, either on the speakerphone or hold the phone. What is the?
Well, by rule of law, it's holding the phone. If your phone is down and hooked up to the Bluetooth that's either in your ear or in your car, you're not breaking the law by being part of that. But you have to understand that if you're on the phone, it's different than engaging in a conversation with your passenger. Your concentration is a little bit different. If you're holding the phone, it takes it a little bit further, and you are distracted. There's no question that you're not driving as well as you could. Distracted driving causes a lot of accidents. Crashes. I don't like the word accidents. There's crashes, collisions, and criminal events. By climbing into the car, you've undertaken that you will drive that car safely for everyone else in the community. By being on the phone, by speeding, by running red lights, by not carrying proper insurance. If something does happen, then you need to be responsible for that. And talking on the phone is distracted driving, but by law, you're not breaking the law if you're on a Bluetooth set.
What about if you are on a speakerphone and you have? Oh, that's the same.
As long as you're not handling the phone,
Okay.
you're not breaking the law. But if you're on a speakerphone and your phone's down here instead of up here, you're breaking the law. It's in your hand.
I had someone give me a ride one time, and he was taxing, and I said, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "No, this is what he does all the time." I said, "You know what you do is your problem, but do me a favor, just stop the car. I will get another one." So I just get off the car. I said, "Good luck with your car," because he's been taking the chances for us for many times. So it became normal to him. What's not normal to me, it becomes normal to him. He was just sending text message, not even looking at the road. And I just wondered, and I said, "You know what, this guy is just accident waiting to happen." So I said, "You know what, I don't want to be another statistic. So good luck, but thank you for the ride."
See, that wouldn't be an accident. That's a crash waiting to happen.
Yeah, that would be a crash. So, and he stopped, but he was still driving so I get off the car and I said, "Good luck," because that becomes for him habit.
Unfortunately, many people, if you just stand on the side of the road and watch the people go by, many people are on their phones, whether texting or speaking, but many.
Barry, what are the advantages of having a diverse population like the one we have in terms of economic growth in the 21st century?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that going forward that immigration certainly is going to be an economic driver for the country and for our community, certainly. I think you just have to go to a couple events in the community and see the richness and the advantages we have, whether it's the Taste of Nations, whether there's several. Even take a look at Canada today, how much it's changed, how much it's grown, how much that cultural, what do you want to call it, the richness of the culture is brought to the community. And I think it's good for our reputation. I'm fortunate enough to go around the province quite a bit. I speak to a lot of my peers that are in similar situations, councillors in other communities, and they look to Brooks and they ask, what's it like? And I can tell them that it is. It's pretty exciting. When you think about Brooks 100 years ago, when the first groups of people came here, it was the same thing. It's something new. It brings growth and prosperity. We hope the ones that choose Brooks to stay are the hardworking and the ones that care about the community. And I think as we go through, I think that'll be the case. We've got a lot to be proud of, and I think it certainly makes us a destination in some regards, for sure.
No, thanks, Barry. And I think that's one of the things that we are very proud. Also, RCMP has now a very diverse group of people. Since last time, I think John Haley was in charge. I think now you have several different ethnic groups, background from different ethnic groups.
We do. We have members in our force from many parts of. We've got a Korean, we've got an Egyptian, we've got the Sudanese or Somalian now. We've got 4 or 5 French speaking members. You know, people come and go, but
Yeah.
we're quite diverse in our. Not very long ago, we had 13 languages represented in our office. I think
Wow.
we're down to maybe 11 right now, but we're going well down that road.
11 still is a good number. Having 11 language, that's very good.
It's very good, and it helps us deliver our service as well. It gives us a totally different understanding of the way we interact with certain clients.
No, that is true indeed, and it depends on your leadership. I met last time with Chief Andy from Medicine Hat Police Chief, and one of the things that he was very having difficulty is he was not able to attract visible minorities to the police force in Medicine Hat, and he was on the show. So, and I told him, well, if you've been doing the same thing and you're not getting results, it's about time you change the route and do something else to attract them. And there is a good number of diverse people in Medicine Hat, but they were not able to attract that time, and they've been doing for a while. So I hope they change their way of attracting, maybe to a different way, or maybe they need to come here and then mingle here, and then maybe have them understand how to attract also the visible minorities from their side.
Well, I'd like to take credit from it, but unfortunately none of the people here come from Brooks. So, but our recruiting, we have recruited from Brooks, and just to understand, when new Canadians, you know, especially from Central Africa, where police forces have a different representative, Central and Eastern Africa, where police forces have a different reputation, it takes an awful long time, generations, for people to trust the police force and then want to be one.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
They call, you see police, you run. Yeah, that's all the continent of Africa.
We used to be like that when we were 17 as well, but
I remember running.
Wow, so you guys came a long way then. So Tom, you're doing a great job, as our counselor mentioned, and you did very much different from the previous ones. That's my personal opinion. But you're doing great interacting with the different ethnic groups, the mainstream, and everybody else. So you're doing a great job. So my hat is off to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barry. So you're also not only counselor, you are also new foundation chairperson and other also events, and you have a very great contribution to the society, and we are very glad to have you as a counselor and maybe in the future as a mayor.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. This is the end of Global Village for today. We had both great people, Tom McNulty, Staff Sergeant of the Brooks and County of Newell Chief, and also Barry Morshiro, the Councillor of City of Brooks. Thank you very much for watching the program, and we hope you will join us next time. This is where the East meets with the West. Until then, God bless you and enjoy life. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.